Good morning. This morning I'm going to be dealing with something that a lot of people don't like to deal with. A lot of people have talked throughout all my life about, if he hits you, leave him. Okay, even the church, they'll be on board about physical abuse. If you're bruised and everything, they'll help you, right? But a friend of mine posted this today, and so I'm going to read it. She had posted, this is Lynn Llewellyn Barber had posted this. She had posted a picture saying, "He called me names when he was angry, but he didn't hit me. He would smash things into the walls, but he didn't hit me. He would scream inches from my face, but he didn't hit me. He would tell me no one cares about me but him, but he didn't hit me. He would flirt with women in front of me, but he didn't hit me. He made me feel like ending my life was the only way out, but he didn't hit me." What this highlights is that a lot of us in American society especially seem to think that, it's okay to treat somebody like crap as long as you don't hit them, as long as you're not physical. Well, guess what? No, it's not. Abuse is abuse. And abuse can be in gaslighting, where you tell somebody when you tease them about something and they say that really hurts them, and you say, "Oh, I was just kidding," as if their feelings don't matter, invalidating their feelings. It's saying, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way because that's not how I meant it." No, they have the right to feel how they feel. Telling somebody that they don't is wrong. Now, whether you meant it that way or not, yes, apologize. I do that all the time. I apologize when something that I say comes across, and I feel horrible. I feel really horrible when something that I say comes across to somebody, even in type, as me being judgmental or anything, because that's never my intent. My intent is to show the love of Christ. But I'm not perfect at it. So the thing is that gaslighting, telling somebody that their feelings don't matter. So gaslighting is saying, "Oh, I was just kidding," as if that makes it okay that you hurt them. It doesn't. Okay? If somebody tells you that you've hurt them, apologizing, and then don't do it again. My family, this is probably why my siblings don't really like being around me, because they'll joke about things that hurt me. Even to this day, that hurt me. And when I get upset about it, "Oh, I was just kidding. You need to have a thicker skin." I grew up with that. I don't allow that in my life anymore. So, it's like when we say things are okay, or we try to slough it off, our bad behavior, the way that we treat people in our words, not just in our actions, but in our words. Words can be abusive. Screaming at somebody, explosive outbursts of anger. It's okay to be angry about something, because that's just telling you that something just crossed a boundary for you. But how you react to that anger, screaming in somebody's face, telling them that nobody's going to care about them but you. I've had to set boundaries with people, even online, where they say something and I don't like it, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to tolerate it. And I tell them, "You can either stop doing that right now, or I will just stop talking to you." There's one guy who asked me for money, and I said no. And we were talking. Now, he was using the L word. I was not. And we were talking, but I mean, I'm kind, and I found some of our conversations interesting. But then he goes, "Well, if you really love me, you'd do this for me." No, sorry, that's not love. So today we're going to go through what the Bible actually says about this type of abuse. Okay, and we're going to start in Colossians 3. That's where a lot of my scriptures are from today, is Colossians 3. Now, I use the New International Version, so you can go look these up for yourself too. But in Colossians 3:5, Paul says, "Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry." But then in 8 through 10, he goes on to say, "But now you must also rid yourselves of such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices. Okay, so what this means, like malice, that's evil intent. Okay, that's where you intend to hurt somebody or get something in. And I'm not perfect at this myself. I do sometimes get angry, have rage. I don't slander though, and I try to keep filthy language out of my mouth. Sometimes things slip out, obviously, but I don't ever have malice. And rage is not something that I ever go to. I might get angry, but then I've learned how to set biblical boundaries. As a Christian, it is okay to be angry about something, but not to let it fester, not to sit there and allow anger to become an action. You know, Christ said, be angry and do not sin. Okay? And what that means is that if you get angry, take a deep breath, calm down. Do not start screaming at somebody. Do not start attacking them. It doesn't matter what they've done to you. Okay? All you're responsible for is what you can control, which is your own thoughts, your own actions, your own mindset, your own heart. That's what you can control. What comes out of your mouth is what you can control. So we need to do that. And then Colossians 12-14 goes on to say, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Okay, which takes us to what is love? Well, Paul also reiterated in 1 Corinthians 13 exactly what love was. Okay, so there are two things that love is, and then a whole bunch of things that love is not. Okay, so in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, it says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy. Other things say does not get jealous or boastful or proud or rude. But this version is saying does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Now, I fail at this sometimes because I do remember what people do. And if they do it again, then I start to see a pattern. And if I see, I keep seeing it. Now, after I see it the second time, I will say something to them and I will reiterate. But if they do it a third time, there's certain things I just cannot allow in my life. And if you want to be in my life, you will either respect my boundaries and treat me the way that I teach you to treat me, or you can just lose my presence in your life, because that means that you don't respect me at all. You don't love me at all. I don't care what your words say. If your actions are speaking something different than what your words are saying, it doesn't matter to me. It means that your actions speak so much longer. So, and then it goes on to say, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. So if somebody tells you a truth, yeah, it might be hard to take. But if you truly love somebody, you're going to be thankful for them telling you the truth, because it means that they care enough about you to be honest and open with you and vulnerable. And some truths are just hard to hear. And you need to be able to accept those truths and grow and move on. And if it means that you have to change your behavior, then change your behavior. Stop doing the things. It's great to feel remorse, but remorse without repentance, which is turning your mind away from it and turning around and doing the opposite of what you were doing, is true repentance. Remorse without that is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just words. Okay? It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always persevere. Love never fails. And that's the thing that we have to remember, okay, is that we as Christians are supposed to love as Christ loved us, and this is the way that Christ loves us. So if we're finding in our relationships, and it doesn't matter if you're married or whatnot, if you're pulling any of the crap that I first read about, yelling in somebody's face, about outbursts of easy anger, punching walls, that's not love at all. That is selfish, self-centeredness, because you didn't get what you wanted. Well, guess what? You're not going to get what you want all the time, because those other people might not be able to give you what you want. And that's why we're supposed to have community, so that when one person can't meet a need, maybe somebody else can. Or maybe, just maybe, when somebody tells you no, or multiple people tell you no, maybe that's God trying to tell you, not right now. Or no, I've closed this door, you need to let it go. And if you can't do that, and yet you keep getting angry, or you keep, being obsessive, or you keep puking your emotions all over people without changing who you are, guess what? That is abuse. That is not healthy adult behavior. And you need help. And if you can't get it in your church, because I'm sorry, but when I was going through this myself in my marriage, you know what my church told me? I wasn't a good enough wife. And then with the suicide attempts that I had, it didn't seem to say anything to them. No, I just had to try harder. There was something wrong with me. It didn't matter what he was doing to me in private. It didn't matter how he spoke to me. All that mattered was, that by appearance, I was the one. Yet, sometimes what looks like appearance, like somebody crying out for help. And when we don't notice those things, if you notice somebody that's always quiet whenever a certain person is around, guess what? 10 to 1, that's an abuser that just walked into the room. If you notice somebody who is all bubbly, but then a person comes into the room or whatnot, guess what? And they immediately change. That's a fear reaction. That is, oh crap, I can't. What if they don't like the way I'm acting? What if, and those are the thoughts that go through people's heads who are in this. And then you wonder why it is so hard for women or even men to get out of abusive relationships. Because they actually believe those lies. So if we don't fight against not just physical abuse, but mental and emotional abuse as well, and we don't keep guard on our own mouths, then it's not going to work. Now, in 1 Corinthians 7, 10 through 14, a lot of people would use that scripture because it talks about staying with an unbelieving husband, or, for divorce and everything, and you shouldn't seek it and everything. But yet, in verses 15 through 16, it talks about unbelievers and that you can let go of an unbeliever. So if a husband or wife is acting in a way that is against what the Bible depicts as being Christian behavior, guess what? Then their actions are showing that they're an unbeliever. You do not have to stay with somebody like that. It is okay to distance yourself. If you don't want a divorce, fine, work through it. But it is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to distance yourself, and you're not being a mean person when you do not allow people in your life that treat you that way. I'm single. So one of the things I look for is how somebody over time reacts to things. If there's something that they don't like, do they talk to me calmly about it, or do they just blow up? Or do they use things like, well, you just don't love me. I'm sorry, but no. Just because I say no to you does not mean I don't love you. It simply means I'm not able to meet that need. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's money, if it's time, if it's energy. And it's okay to say no to the church too when they ask you to do something. It's okay. You should be giving out of your gifts what God has, the gifts that God gives you, as well as your time, your energy, your money. You should be giving whatever God tells you to do, not what the church tells you to do, not what other people tell you to do. And if somebody is treating you in a way that God does not want you to be treated, it is okay to distance yourself and say, I just can't. I love my siblings. I love them very much, and I pray for them daily. But if they call me when they're drunk or high, I can't deal with it. If all they call is to complain about their situation, I speak truth. I try to love them. They don't like it, so they don't call me. They don't talk to me. And I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to chase them, because something I've learned in my own walk with Christ is that Christ never forced me. He never forced me to change. He never forced me to do what he called me to do. He let me come to it and just love me anyways. I love my siblings. But I have certain boundaries. I love all people. But if you treat me in a certain way, if you gaslight me by telling me that my feelings don't matter, or I need to grow a thicker skin or whatnot, you know what? I won't be around you. I won't talk to you. I'll just ignore you. Because I don't know. I'll tell you, look, I just can't have you in my life. And then I'll stop responding. I do not allow abuse in my life of any kind. And I hope that the rest of you will take the message today and learn that abuse is not just physical. It is mental and emotional abuse as well. It is the words that we speak and the emotions that we puke onto others that are not healthy. If you have an emotional issue, get help. Because there is help out there. You can learn how to control your emotions. It is hard. It takes a lot of work, but you can learn it. So I hope that all of you go forth today and strive to love as Christ loved us, and strive to watch your words. And if somebody tells you that you hurt them, even if that wasn't intent, simply apologize and make note not to do that again. Some people do not like certain jokes. I don't like, some jokes. I'm sorry. There's some things that just are not funny to me. Tearing somebody down is not funny to me. Talking about something that is embarrassing to somebody in the respect of you're making fun of them for it, and they tell you that they don't like it. And I do this too. I'm not saying I don't, because I get like everybody, but as soon as somebody tells me that it hurts them, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And I strive not to do it again. I watch people's reactions too. And even if they don't say it, sometimes I can get an inkling that it's okay. But sometimes I can't. Because if they just laugh it off, I don't know what they're thinking. So that's the other thing, is if you're being abused, don't just laugh it off. Don't just put on a smiley face. Make sure people know that that's not allowed. And then enforce those boundaries. And yes, it's hard. It hurts to have to say no to somebody and not be around them. But sometimes, as my pastors say, you have to love somebody from afar. So I hope that this has helped you, and I hope that it has highlighted a very important issue. Have a blessed day, all.